It's a little chipper. It's a little chilly, but warmer than yesterday. 19 degrees Fahrenheit. Hoorah. All right, that's good. That's not absolutely bone-chilling cold, but I don't know. I must have... Either I ate something weird 2 days ago, which I really don't even think that I did, or somehow I just got hit with something. I don't know. But all of yesterday, yesterday and last night, or 2 nights ago, just something was feeling off. I don't know. It had been a little sniffly, just like this kind of, my belly was going crazy. I don't know. But it made me think that yesterday, full rest day required, full on nothing, no cardio, no lift, and that was actually kind of tricky for me to even do, because I've had a couple days over the last few weeks where I'm like, all right, shit, I should probably take it easy. I'm not going to do my second session of cardio. I'll just do I'll do the workout and my 45 minutes in the morning, and then I'll skip the second session. I'll go easy today and just skip that second session. And like, that's what I would consider a rest day. But yeah, you throw in a little added something or other sickness to the mix, it may be in your best interest to give yourself a little leeway. Maybe a little extra food, tons and tons of extra fluids, and kind of get that over with. Because bulking, I'm a little bit more resilient, or maybe just not so sensitive to lifting and just eating a crap ton of food throughout any kind of sickness I might have. Because it's like, dude, I'm eating like 5,000 calories. I'm still hitting my cardio. I'd have to be pretty damn sick for me to say, nah, let's just not even make it happen. And then usually I never even would get sick in an off season, because I'm so full of food and I'm like as fueled as I can be as an organism, that I think my immune system is stronger. So it's just not even something I really have to think about. But yeah, yesterday was definitely, I was sleeping all freaking day. I'd get up and get some food, drink my tons of electrolytes, back to bed, just kind of scrap around. Felt sort of like a punk, but that's okay. And now, waking up this morning, night and day, beyond the literal sense of it's now daytime, I do feel much better. So, what does that leave me? What does that tell me to do now? Regular ass lift as scheduled, as planned. So hamstrings, really laying curls, seated curls. I was kind of thinking to myself, I might want to do a little bit of quads, go a little extra wild and throw some quads in the mix for today. But I think that's the mentality of me thinking, okay, I just took the yesterday lower level intensity day, the lowest possible level rest day. The next day I should do more to kind of make up for it, which I think is a flawed approach. I think so hamstrings only, a little quad pump afterward, and then I'll get some Q&A kind of questions overlapped during the training. So how about we just get straight to one of those, man? Hamstring training, really not the most exciting thing in the world. I can basically predict what it's going to look like. I'm going to do a light squeeze set of curls, rack it once I can't really do much substantial range of motion anymore. Tell myself, ooh, all right, that was a good one. Let's do one more. And then just do that 7 times, 6 times or something. Nothing crazy. But yeah, I keep posting these little Q&A prompts on the YouTube account. So you've got to look at this. This is actually a point where if you have the YouTube channel's notifications on, then you would see these, because they don't show up in your regular feed. But I just post a picture, and then in the comments of the YouTube post, which is on the channel, that's where I'm looking for these questions. Instagram would have too many. TikTok would be silly. But the YouTube questions usually are actually the best. I've gone through a few where I've tried answering Instagram questions, TikTok questions, but the YouTube questions are usually actually pretty solid and have some substance. It's not just should I eat chicken or should I eat beef? Like that. Not to put somebody down where that's their question, but that's kind of that's level 1. That's level 1. Level 10 is could Genghis Khan outbench Andrei Smaev? that's more of like a level 10 question, which the YouTube comments usually bring out of the woodworks. But yeah, nothing else to say. So let's just get started with these freaking sets and questions. Here we go. All right, yeah, we got 5.5 minutes worth of hamstring training, so that equates to 5.5 minutes worth of a little Q&A. So I got a couple here, only 6, so that should line up just about right. pfound93, you're an anime fan. If you could model your physique after one Baki character, who would it be and why? So, yeah, I don't think I'm too picky. And what I mean by that is just the fact that all the Baki characters look freaking nuts. Like a Hanayama is crazy, Baki's crazy, all the Katsumi guys are crazy. But I'd say the two choices you really have are going to be like a Biscuit Oliver, total freak show huge, or a little more Baki-esque kind of, I want to say normal, but I don't mean not normal proportions. But yeah, definitely a Baki, man. Baki's crazy. Not so in the show. This is like a fighting kind of anime manga. It's really cool, but it's not like it's just straight up fighting. That's all. The kid is actually like Baki is only like 150 pounds, but in the show he looks like he's 250. So that would be my choice for sure. Just freaking huge. Keys ___ dot. What's your biggest fear and biggest pet peeve? Biggest fear, I don't know if I can answer. I'm not totally certain. I don't know. Just things that are out of your control and unexpected kind of suck. But those are also things that you can't really fear because there's no point worrying about them. Like, I would really hate to get sideswiped by a massive semi running a red light because he was playing on his phone on a TikTok live. The morning drive going to the Arnold, right? Like, that would suck. But you can't really worry about that because you never know what can happen. So I guess the things that I fear the most are also things I can't really worry about. So it's not worth fearing, if you kind of feel me. But my biggest pet peeve, it's when people say the same filler word like 10 times in one sentence. This has been a thing for me even since I was a kid. Like, I remember thinking this in school when somebody would talk, and I had a problem with this. Sometimes I still do it. I try not to. But they just, they get into a story and they're like, so basically and then she's basically like, if I could kind of explain it, like she was, and then like everybody else started freaking out, I just said it right there, like 1 million likes in one sentence, not awesome. X Smoothies 9511, what are your personal expectations for yourself stepping on the Arnold stage? I've got a few. For one, in terms of my overall shape, I expect to look pretty freaky for me, which is good. And I'm already on track to doing so. So that goal has, I still have to do it, but it's essentially kind of been achieved. Like, I know I'm going to show up relative to what I'm used to, like my own version of a beast. And apart from that, just aura farm a little, and what I mean by that is I want to really have a cool routine and pick a good song, because if you come out on stage confident and the song that you pick is like really cool and like your routine kind of plays into it, it's way more fun to watch. Some of these guys, I can actually guarantee it, not that it's easy, but they're probably going to show up and have a really basic routine. They'll run through some poses. Some guys don't even care about the routine because you're not exactly judged on it. Like, obviously they want you to do it, but it's not like if you have a bad routine, they're really going to hit you hard. But it's cool. So I'm practicing that now. I've got some ideas. We'll hear a little bit more about that in the future. But I just expect to look crazy for me. That's really all I can think. Logan Mac 7069. What are your thoughts on shocking the muscle, as far as how often to do it and how crazy of a shock to do? I think it's kind of a hyped up statement, obviously coming from the mouth of Mr. Arnold, but the idea being to hit a muscle in a different way every workout, every few workouts, just so that you don't get a stale stimulus. I think the logic is very sound, because if you come in and do the exact same thing
the exact same way every day, how can you expect any change? You know, so I'd even say you're shocking the muscle just by doing a set of the same weight, but doing an extra 2 or 3 reps, maybe some assisted reps, things like that. Like you don't have to completely, walk over to the pec deck and then last minute grab the pull down to shock the muscle. But just change up your training a little bit. Don't get caught doing the same routine for your back every back day. Even if you don't even have something in your mind, just pick something new. Pick a different set of movements just to change it up and make sure your training doesn't get stagnant. Leo Ibarra 7077. Are you going to compete with the mustache and goatee or shave it? And I actually think I'm going to keep it. I think it'll be pretty, just a very big change up from the last look on stage too, because it's just so, like, I've never grown it out before like this to the point where it actually like looks decent, like at least for what it is. Whether I can pull it off or not, that's a totally different opinion, but it's definitely there. And I think it's pretty funny. M. Simon Isings. How do you feel being so on track for the Arnold? Must be such a good feeling versus being stressed out about being ready. And that is 100% freaking true. Like this, it feels very good that right now I can sit down, literally right now I'm sitting down, I'm about to edit this video together, but I'm not thinking, oh crap, the Arnold's in 32 days or 33 days. Crap, I really got to lock in. Like I'm still locked in, but there's no, the pressure of the schedule isn't exactly the problem. You've still got to focus to pass a test or, a final exam. But if you're on track with all of the, subject matter that is going to be on it, and you're this is the equivalent of like studying really well and making sure I know what I'm going to do. Since I'm on track, there's no uncertainty. At least it doesn't feel like there's a lot of uncertainty. It just feels like I'm waiting for time to pass and, everything's going to kind of fall right into freaking place. But no more chatting. Let's see how hamstrings look. All right, so I'm fairly certain I set this thing up to be in focus. And that was a very simple lift. Nothing, what was that, 7 sets of just light squeezing seated leg curl? Even that's a little simple for me, but every so often, I definitely do not mind it. I don't need every lift to be a million different styles of sets. I need them to be effective and help me achieve what my goal is for that lift. So today, that goal was get a hamstring pump and don't hurt myself. So go a little bit lighter, which I certainly believe I have achieved. So let's get a little bit of a glimpse how these things are looking, even just standing. So this is with no quad pump whatsoever. That's just freaking nothing. So yeah, still a substantial amount of grain. Nothing crazy yet. I'm not going to have like a insane day by day grain transformation, but actually this one's getting crazy. I'm seeing kind of this split feathering effect from like feathering on the bottom, a little extra texture on top. Yeah, no. The basics are there, but my quads insert slightly differently. So obviously you've got the outer head, medial head, teardrop, whatever. But I feel like they're much more balanced than they used to be. My right one was very dominant for a while, which I know why. When I, used to dive, so basically every day or every couple of days, I'm on the diving board, right? Here I am, I get a little step, kind of a little double leg hop. And then I have my full body weight jump off of this one leg. And then you kind of jump in the air and then you go off. But I had a lot of single leg work on the right side, which I'm now kind of balancing out. But even just standing, like I feel like my hamstrings are sticking out the back of my quads. Like they're round over the backside, which is what I really want to freaking see. So yeah, it's like there's just, you tell me, I can't really see my own reflection here, but there's some tears in there. Look at that. That's not just a hunk of meat.
Like there's multiple little bits that are, you know, kind of inserting and making themselves known. Obviously pumped, your hamstrings do take a little bit of a hit in terms of like visible grain, because when you pump up a muscle, it's like when you pump up a balloon. It's no longer this like kind of ripply thing, like it wants to flatten out, just because that's the nature of the freaking, you know, universe when anything inflates. But yeah, this is really cool. So what I want to see get extra crazy over time is my side chest. So this little like squishing my hamstring up against itself shot to make my leg look as wide as possible from the side. And I tell you something, look, is that a hint? Is that just a slight hint of glute striations? Just barely, but I didn't have anything close to that on my last diet. So what that tells me is I'm a bit leaner and, well, actually, yeah, that's pretty much just it. I'm a bit leaner. But that's perfect. You know, as simple as a goal of that is, or as simple as a goal as that is, it's still crazy to get there. You know, I'm pushing into new ground. I'm breaking into new territory. Typically, what the hell was I about to say? Yeah, well, I mean, we're always thinking like very specific goals in terms of fitness. We're always thinking, okay, reach this new bench. All right, hit this new whatever, hit this different number, hit this whatever, you know. But I have no issue being very motivated just by minor progression gradually. You know, I'm not going to suddenly double in size in 1 year, but I'm going to get a little bigger. I'm going to get a little grainier. When I'm dieting, I'm going to get a little bit at least leaner than the last time. Not to mention the fact that even if my body fat is the same level, if I just had a proper bulk off season, well, I could be just as lean as I've ever been before, like PR leanness, but I'll look crazier because the muscle underneath will have developed a little bit further, you know? So it's not always about these grandiose, like, becomings or like moments of like, yeah, it all changed. The first time I hit 315, I remember like it was yesterday. You know, not really. You know, I'm not trying to put down those accomplishments, but just don't forget, things like that are just steps along the way. You know, like the mountain that we're trying to climb in terms of like just progress, and not even progress, but more so, at least for me, the fun of making the progress, right? Like in no way in my mind am I thinking, okay, if I had 15 more pounds of lean muscle and I was just as lean as I am now, that's my end goal. And once I reach that, everything will be perfect. That's not the point, you know? That's whatever. The fun part is actually the doing it, like the gradually working on it, getting that day-by-day feedback of like, yeah, shit, what I'm doing is working, you know? Like, you go in Minecraft creative, you can fly around, you can do whatever the hell you want. The fun part about survival is the fact that you actually do have to work on it, you know, and you can't just spawn in 20 diamond blocks. You got to go mine for that shit, you know. You got to, what is it? Yeah, you have to bed bomb? No. You got to run through whatever layer of the nether with a bunch of TNT blocks, blow that shit up and find the netherite. You can't just generate it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the fun part, I feel. But that was really good. I don't know what I'm about to do. I got a bunch of lights delivered, but I don't have another extension cord to set them up and plug them in. So maybe I'll save that for another day. Maybe later tonight I'll come in and get everything set up. This messing with all the lighting in here is like super fun for me. Not even just for like the videos or anything, but just getting to lift in like a really fancy lit, like if you've ever been to Fit Club in Vegas, that gym's pretty well lit too. It's just freaking cool. So, you know, kind of taking control of my own space. But yeah, man, nothing else to say. Very solid hamstring day, and I feel much better today. Whatever the hell I was going through, a good days of full-on rest, we're back. I feel like I just came out of a freaking chamber like Luke Skywalker after he had that hand thing, and he's like, all right, shit. Now he's back to full strength. or full force rather. But I think nothing else to say, so I'm gonna go get my cardio done. Let's yeah. Actually, that's probably it. I'm gonna add the Q&A section in between, so there won't be an end. This is gonna be it. So I think I'll just see you tomorrow for some freaking chest. So keep an eye out for that.